The college football playoff rankings will come out Tuesday, and that's the last batch of rankings we get before Selection Sunday. And there are three scenarios that just keep burning a hole in my heart as to whether any of them unfold and how chaotic it really could be. And I wrote them down, and the first one is very simple. Big 12 championship game. What if Brigham Young beats Texas Tech? They're a 13.5-point dog, so maybe they won't. But what if Brigham Young beats Texas Tech Saturday? It's going to be an early game, 11 a.m. local kick. So you'll know early in the day. Do they both get in the playoff? I would say almost absolutely. You know Brigham Young would be in. They're the Big 12 champ. And Texas Tech's not going to fall out, I don't think. So they would both be in. So who gets knocked out in this scenario? Who gets knocked out? Could be Alabama. Could be Oklahoma. Could be Ole Miss, which I'm about to talk about in a second, because I don't think it's fully dawned on people that that's possible. Could be Notre Dame, which is viewed like a sacrilege. Notre Dame, it's their birthright to be in this year's playoff. No, it's not. They're likely in. They're not a slam dunk in because of things like this. So I could see a world where Texas Tech runs it up on Brigham Young and they remove themselves from the equation. I could see that. It's tough to see Brigham Young beating Texas Tech, but I could see it happening. At that point, they're both in. And the question of who gets knocked out, I mentioned those four teams, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Alabama. The Alabama part, I already went over this. It is a non-starter for me. If Bama's 10th or higher going into Saturday, they are in that playoff. I think Fowler said it properly last night. Ironically, I think Nick Saban said it poorly when he said, I think it's going to take 2 wins for Bama to get in. What? Where did you coach up until 5 minutes ago? Fowler said last night after the game, this win probably secures Alabama a spot in the playoff. Yeah, because it secures them a spot in the SEC championship game as a 10th ranked or higher participant. So, yeah, in a world where they lose and they get dropped, that's also a world where I just think the league office in the SEC burns the whole thing to the ground. And you may ask, well, who's going to go in instead of, who are they going in over? I don't know. Probably someone who didn't play for the SEC championship would be my guess. What about the ACC Doomsday scenario? I just talked about it in the Sarah McLachlan special, but it bears repeating. I've had more people ask about this than any other possible doomsday chaos scenario that the playoff has to offer. Because many people are just now realizing that they didn't have it right. Like most people are not glued to this stuff like we are. So most people were not aware up until 5 seconds ago that the ACC is not guaranteed a spot in the playoff. Most people just thought the Power 4 conference champs are guaranteed a spot and then one G5 team gets a spot. No, that's not the way it's written. That's just the way it was going to work out 99% of the time. The way it's written is the 5 highest ranked conference champs get the 5 auto bids, and then you have 7 at-larges. So people looked at that and rightfully thought, okay, well, out of the 5 highest ranked conference champs, certainly the Power 4 will be amongst the 5. And then enter 2025, where the ACC has no idea how to structure itself. They're not the only ones. And Duke can go 7-5 and still make the conference title game and win it. They're 2.5-point dogs, guys. This is not out of the realm of possibility. And if Duke wins that thing, because they're in the game via a 5-way tie, if they win that thing, they're not going to get one of the auto bids. Like the American, I don't care who it is, it could be Tulane or North Texas, the winner of that conference title game will definitely be ranked higher than Duke. So they'll get one of the auto bid spots that's available, and then the other one is almost certainly going to go to James Madison because they're going to be ranked way higher than Duke. So if Duke wins that thing and JMU wins as a 21.5-point favorite, the ACC champ is not going to be in the playoff, which means the only other question is, are they going to put Miami in? And I was talking to some folks last night. Ironically, that could be the best thing for Miami. If it's really, really like nip and tuck, if the committee really does take Miami's win over Pitt yesterday and bake it into the pie and figure out that Miami and Notre Dame's resumes are right there now, and they need one more thing to bump it over, I think that one thing could be staring into the abyss on Selection Sunday, realizing, Duke won the ACC. We're not putting them in. If we don't put Miami in this playoff, we're about to tell a Power 4 conference, no, you're out. Are they willing to do that? I don't know, because we're only 2 years into this thing. We're going to find out. Well, we may find out. Or Virginia could win it and make it a moot point. We'll see. But I just imagine that, by the way. Whether it be that scenario or whether it be the Bama scenario. The Bama scenario would probably be worse, because I want you to imagine the SEC watching their league's number 1 seed, which is Alabama. League standings. I'm not talking about rankings right now. Imagine Greg Sankey sitting in Birmingham at the league office, watching his number 1 seed play a conference title game, which is a reward that they earn the right to play in. They lose. The committee drops them out so that the committee can put in 2 G5 teams and maybe 2 teams from the Big 12. Torch in one hand, pitchfork in the other, burn it down. That would be the only protocol for the SEC at that point. Hey, do me one favor right here. Look down. Are you subscribed to the channel? If you are, thank you. If you're not, please click subscribe. It helps us keep the show free and free of corporate interference. All right, that's it for me. Back to the clip. Speaking of the SEC, we do have the small matter of the Ole Miss disaster scenario to discuss amongst ourselves here. They're number 3 in total offense. That's a good thing. Their offensive staff just got gutted as Lane Kiffin left town. That's a bad thing. No Lane Kiffin, no Charlie Weiss Jr. there. A lot of the other guys are gone. How's the committee going to view this? Now, I need to stop right now. I need to tell you, I hate what I'm about to say. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like that this is protocol. I'll go all the way back to 2023 with Florida State when I got accused of flip-flopping. People still get mad at me on the internet for this stuff. Jordan Travis went down, and it fundamentally changed who Florida State was, but I went on the show and said, I don't care. Injuries are a part of football. I don't care what the committee thinks the impact on Florida State's roster is, because the teams that deserve to be there should be in the playoff. And then Bill Hancock came out right before Selection Sunday and said, most deserving is not in our lexicon. Those were his exact words. So then I went on subsequent shows and I said, all right, well, that's dumb, but if that's the way the committee's viewing it, then no, Florida State doesn't belong in. Alabama should be in. Because Alabama's a better team at that point, I think, than Florida State. And it doesn't matter all of a sudden whether you've earned something or whether you deserve something, because the committee says their protocol is we just choose the best teams now. So that was where I had to ignore my own emotion and acknowledge the committee's criteria back then. Well, fast forward 2 years, we may have that on our hands again. The committee's criteria says, just like if you lose a key player to injury, it may impact their view of your team. If you lose a coach or coaches, it may impact their view of your team. I just want to warn you guys, there is a world come Tuesday night where, according to their criteria, hate it though I might, you have to acknowledge that Ole Miss is not as good a team when several key pieces of their coaching staff are gone, and you have to deduct them because of that. I'm not advocating for it. I hate that that's part of their criteria. But remove my emotion and just acknowledge the criteria, and you understand, yeah, there's a world where you may rightfully bump Ole Miss down. How far down? They were 7th last week. How far down would you bump them? And if we get in the situation where there's a logjam of teams, everyone's looking at these other candidates to be left out. Ole Miss is a candidate to be left out. It's in the committee's protocol. I can't do anything about it. I hate it. I would remove it today if I could, but it's in there. And there are a couple of differences in this and the Jordan Travis injury a couple of years ago. So Jordan Travis got hurt, and Florida State played a couple of games without him. And they won them, but they were ugly. But there was a little more definitive evidence to us that, okay, yeah, pretty obvious they are a lesser team without him. Now, whether I liked it or not, that was obvious. We're not going to get to see Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin until they play a playoff game, if they are given a playoff game. So that is a surefire chaos scenario. And I don't really know. I don't really know a lot about college football right now. I know I love it.